Collective, welcome, welcome. I'm Nikki, your local vegan tarotist. All right, so I've already shuffled the cards. So we're going to read for the Divine Masculine, the Divine Feminine, and the Divine Truth about this connection. I get the sense that somebody is giving up on the idea, and that could have been the holdup, because giving up on sounds like something that it's not. It's really just letting go of, releasing something. There does feel like there's a bit of an ease to something that you've needed to let go of or release for a long time. And it feels like the idea of something, and there's this realization that that thing was not what I thought it could be or felt it might be. So I'm going to just release it. And because you're doing that, because you're having this realization, it feels easier. It's like a full submission to the universe. I was getting the Fool coming out in multiple decks here. And the Three of Swords in reverse. And I was getting reverse. So that's not the Cupid shuffle, but I was also getting the Cupid shuffle. So Cupid is, about to shoot their arrow. Love is about to strike. Okay? Love is about to strike, and that could be like a snake. Somebody, we were getting the Death card, so Scorpionic energy could be important here. The Hierophant was coming out, so that reverse, and Cupid shuffle, those are the things that usually play at celebrations, weddings, right? So those could be like some sort of choreographed group dance or celebration where that takes place could be significant. Or that could be you and your person planning your own wedding. Oh my goodness. That is very good coffee. Especially because I'm tired. I'm good tired. I had a very good weekend. But I'm like, it's moon day. It's Monday, and that full moon really. Anybody else with Cancer placements cry themselves to sleep this weekend? Sometimes you're just like, I don't know, I just feel so much, and then you realize, oh, it's because there's a full moon, and it's the second moon, and it's a blue moon, so there's like extra confusion or emotional lack of clarity. And so you could be dealing with a Cancer, or you could have Cancer placements. But there's like a lot of sensitivities, you're in a very sensitive time, but because you're in a sensitive time, and the full moon was in Sagittarius, which is the crown chakra. So the Three of Pentacles here in the masculine side does feel like somebody tuning into their spirituality, because the crown chakra is where we receive information from. So, and I was talking about like dissection and frogs, so that could be important. You could be in the medical field, or the dissection, like something about like dissecting something feels like mutable energy, particularly Virgo energy, where you do kind of go within. Also, frogs represent fecundity and fertility and the ability to hip hop. So hip hop could be important. Maybe somebody's a DJ. Maybe somebody's the initials or letters DJ are insignificant. But there's like with the Fool, I'm getting that frog prince. Like he's very immature, and it takes this very, driven, sassy feminine to come in and help him grow up. And he didn't really have any direction, and his parents disowned him, so he's kind of like feels like an orphan. So the Fragi Brutto, the princess and the frog could be important. But the frog, the dissection, and then I was getting that scene from, because when I was, I don't know when we did it in middle school or whenever we did the dissection of frogs, I was like, I refused to do it. And I ended up, they allowed me to just do like a paper examination. Because I was like, I'm not dissecting a frog. I used to collect frogs, not actual frogs, but I love frogs like I always did. And I was like, no, I'm not dissecting my homie. Um, so many vegan plot points in my life. It's just funny. But I think maybe it had something to do, me having the guts to do that and say no. I mean, because that's how I am, but is also from the movie E.T., where he's like, no, and he frees all the frogs. He's like, go, and then it's E.T.'s watching this romantic film, and then Elliot's doing the same thing, and they're mirroring each other. So there's something about like the 5D connection between you two, this telepathic connection where it's like you're mirroring each other in whatever you're doing, but he, kisses the girl, and it's like this whole, he's mirroring this romantic film. So maybe something about the way that you are, I don't want to say comes from film, but was encouraged by film, music, something around you in the arts. And with the Knight of Cups here, maybe you are going to be branching into whatever your artistic expression is, because it's almost like it could have been something that you denied about yourself, and then now you're getting information. Masculines particularly are getting some sort of download saying, actually, that thing that you denied about yourself is part of your contribution to the collective. And with the Two of Pentacles here, maybe you and this person are going to be working together on this. But it is something that's going to bring you a lot of balance, masculines. And when we're in balance, I was going to say balance mode, when we are in balance, when we are in harmony, when we are in homeostasis, because I'm also thinking about someone who maybe has approached things from a very scientific, analytical perspective. Like they dissect things, they think about things intellectually, and this could be a masculine who's having this realization, like whatever they've been giving their energy to is not actually aligned with their divine path. Page of Wands, it's like they're realizing this inspiration, this exciting new thing, but it's actually not, it's actually, if I can make words happen here, it's actually not new, it's very old. It's like something that was always there. Let's see for the feminine. Oh, feminine's ready to talk. Justice. That is karma. That is balance, Libra energy. So Libra could be of significance here. But with Libra and Justice and this, like, these two people with a witness. Can I get a witness? 747. On the clock there. Which is about like two people exploring and then coming together in the Four of Wands, possibly, like coming into balance. 4 is about finding that inner balance. And this could be like a wedding, right? Some sort of ceremony where you are making those vows and there's a witness here, and it's something about, it's a cathedral. So with the Justice, you could be going to the courthouse, you could be going to the church, but somebody's getting married. Whatever that means to you. So wherever you want to confirm that connection, I almost put this one back, the Hierophant. Yeah. Marriage. Marriage, union, and it's from a spiritual place. And then with Taurus and Libra here, that gives me the Empress. And the Empress was coming out in the masculine deck when I was shuffling. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's just like too many came out, and then it tried to pop back in, and the Hermit was on the top. And the Hermit in this deck looks terrified. It looks like Gollum under a bridge with a dead fish, and it's like, if it comes out again, I'll show you. But if you've been following me, then you have probably seen it in this deck. It looks terrified. And I was about to say, this masculine's a little bit nervous. All right, why? And then the Hermit flipped back over, and that chunk of cards that was behind the Hermit, it's like all these secrets, which Virgos can be quite secretive. The Emperor came out with the Two of Wands. So with that Two of Pentacles, Two of Wands, 2 represents choice. So there could be that choice of, and the Three of Pentacles again. Three of Pentacles. Now there could be a third party, but this could be somebody. Three of Pentacles represents like, you know, collaborating with people, working together, making something happen. confiding in others. Like these people have their back. They have each other's back. There's trust here. So maybe somebody's discovered that they can't trust certain people. And there is like a choice between leaving behind or releasing those that they can't trust, that are not aligned, that don't bring them balance. We bring ourselves balance, right? That's an internal maintenance that we have to do with the divine. However, if you are surrounded by things and people and places that do not bring you balance, that do not contribute to or help nourish and nurture that, then you gotta let it go. Tell me when to go. Tell me when to go. Just tell me when to go. And that could be what someone is asking here, or like confiding in others. Maybe both of you, because it's showing up in the feminine and the masculine. It's like, what should I do? They could be confiding in people like, I'm in a pickle. I don't know what to do. And these could be people that they trust or people that they work with. The Three of Pentacles usually gives me, especially in this deck, because they're like, you do this, I'll do that. Like, they're doing things that the others can't do. 11:09 on the clock there. But it always gives me the phenomenon. Leo energy, Sandra Bullock, where she does that little skit or whatever on that. But Sesame Street could be important here. Maybe somebody's into puppets, or like has been wanting to like write a book or contribute to children in some way. Capricorn energy, I'm getting Jason Segel. Segels could be important, but Jason Segel, he is like one of my big celebrity husbands. I just love him. I think he's just adorable, and he's very weird and like interesting. But yeah, maybe somebody like finds you like fascinating. You're just like so strange. But you, he does the Dracula's musical, which is where I really, forgetting Sarah Marshall, when I saw him do that, I was like, oh, that's my boo. Because I just like theater. I grew up in the theater. So somebody could be into theater, because there is like a theater curtains here. So somebody could be like wanting to always do like a screenplay, or be a playwright, or something. Maybe you were that kid who like put on performances or something for people growing up. I used to do that with my sister. We would like write plays and do puppet shows and stuff. Maybe that's something that is important to you. The Hunchback of Notre Dame could be important as well. I'm getting cathedral, the church, the cathedral, and that could be religion. That could be like, maybe you are coming back to a spirituality or a form of religion that you're going to confirmation there. And it was 747 and it's 727 when I just received that message just now. Purple hearts could be important. Somebody could be a Purple Heart recipient, or purple is about like royalty and of the heart space. That's going to be like realizing that something that fuels your heart is something that you need to nurture. But okay, so Aquarius energy, phenomenon, went on a whole tangent there. But John Travolta, the name John could be important. But Jason Segel, JS, John Travolta, JT. JT, Justin Timberlake. Anyway, maybe these things are confirmation for you. But in phenomenon, he is struck by some sort of light in the sky on his birthday. So a birthday could be important, some sort of maybe birthday celebration, or maybe your birthday is coming up, right? Or just passed, right? Or just your birthday is significant to this connection, okay? My birthday party. It just left, but I had something from it sounded like something, a pull quote, a pull quote from a film. And maybe it'll come back. I can imagine like a little girl with a lisp saying it. My birthday party or something. Anyway, maybe somebody has a little girl or whatever. Or this is something you dreamed about doing since you were a little girl, right? Little, pretty little baby. Yes, somebody could be hearing songs or writing a song, but there's something about music that is like, you're everywhere. This person sees you everywhere. You're like their pretty little baby. I'm not a baby. I'm a man. I'm an anchor man. But in Phenomenon, because we are going to get there. We're going to get there. So he sees this light in the sky, and then he starts developing these powers and like super sensitivity and like telekinesis, and it's like he's accessing all the parts of his brain. Also, the movie Lucy, November 22nd, Scarlett Johansson. The color red could be important here as well, which is the root chakra, which is Saturn and Capricorn. But he's like, one guy needs something. Like I always forget the exact thing that they need, but like one person needs solar, one person needs a fence put in, and one person needs their car fixed. And he's like, he is putting in a fence. Rabbits could be important, but he's like, someone from the town is like, oh, I need a fence put in, and he's like, well, such and such needs their car fixed, and he's like, well, I don't know how to do that, and he's like, no, but I do. So you put in a fence, or you do my solar, I'll do his truck, and he'll do your fence or whatever. So it's like, it's also, children are really good about this. Someone could be like a teacher or have children, but children are really good about like not having the competition if parents get out of the way, because we know that like if you've ever worked with kids, maybe you work with kids, but the parents are the biggest problem. Because when kids are just left to their own devices, like they're like, oh, you're the highest jumper, you're the fastest runner, and you have the best voice, or you have you're like, they're okay with everybody being different and everybody being better, but there is no competition until the parents put it in there, or until they start getting them in sports, which is usually driven by the parents. Kids just want to play, and they're like, they just want the thing done. They just want like the mission accomplished. They're like, you're the fastest runner, so I'm going to throw you the ball, but I'm the best catcher, so I'll catch it and you run. Something about that, something about sports maybe. Maybe somebody always wanted to be a coach or some sort of teacher. That also reminds me of the movie I Want You Back, where she goes to do, it's two people, they meet in the stairwell at work, and they're both crying because they just got dumped, and then they become friends, and they go out drinking, like day drinking, to tell their sob stories or whatever, and they're like, we got to get our people back. So they like help each other try to get their exes back, and their exes are with two people, two new people, like very quickly, by the way. But that's usually the case. Maybe somebody is stuck on an ex here, and it's like the ex, when you split up and other people are looking at a connection, because the term connection indicates that there is a mutual connection. An attachment is one-sided. So I think somebody's realizing they were in an attachment versus a connection. They thought they were connected to somebody, but they were actually just attached because they're the only ones holding on. The other person's like like dredging them through the mud as they're walking towards something else, because they can't fill themselves. They're so dependent on what others think. The Six of Wands was coming out, which is a confidence card with Leo energy, but it can also be someone who's like, look at me, and they need the validation, external validation constantly. They're just like an empty vessel. Friends, Monica, where he writes the poem. Poetry is almost always significant in my readings, but because I get a lot of alliterations or rhymes or whatever. The universe be spitting rhymes. So in I Want You Back, the girl goes to get his ex back, and she's with the guy who's like teaching theater, a middle school theater teacher. And so she goes to like volunteer to try and like get him away so that the girlfriend will be like, oh, you cheated on me, my ex-boyfriend was so great. And that's the scheme to get him back. So she's like seducing the new boyfriend to try and get her friend's ex to come back. That sounds very convoluted. But anyway, if you want to watch that, it's a funny movie. It's cute. But yeah, she does like find purpose because she ends up like working with these kids, and she is very lost before, and you know, I don't want to spoil it. But justice, again, Libra energy is very important. Somebody could be a life path 6. We got 9, 6 and 9. Cancer energy again with the symbol agape love, beyond agape love. This is the most love that you can give and receive. The High Priestess. So we've got Pisces energy here, the third eye. Somebody's going to have to make this decision with the Two of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. Somebody's going to have to, and then the High Priestess is 2 as well, right? So there's 222. That could be significant as well. That is also a very good movie about 3 people who, 3 people that bring 2 together. So there could be some sort of, I was getting matriarch, there could be some sort of figure here, feminine figure here, with the High Priestess, and the Empress energy here. That is like helping this masculine realize this. But the masculine's presenting as an emperor. The Empress is coming out in pieces. In Pieces, that's an album by Garth Brooks. Now, any actors or characters that I name, you can look up the actor's zodiac sign, and that can be of significance. I know quite a few. Some have switched on me when the Matrix glitched. But I don't know all of them. So, like Courtney Cox, John Travolta, I know is an Aquarius, but I don't know Courtney Cox because I was mentioning Monica from Friends. Or just these movies, the storyline and these love stories could resonate with you because maybe you never had examples of the type of love that you've wanted. So, you know, maybe you find them in songs, maybe you find them in music, maybe you find them in songs or music. That's very significant here, apparently. Movies. Maybe you find it in your imagination. Maybe you write a love story because you're like, that would be an interesting, like, therapy session, or like very therapeutic, and it would be an act of manifestation by writing the love story that you've always desired, which is specific, but that could be significant. The Emperor here is presenting with the Knight of Cups and the Ten of Cups. So the masculine definitely wants this, but the Emperor is showing up in the feminine side. And it's like the feminine is still in, they're like only half revealed. Like only one side of the Empress is showing at a time. Either the Taurus aspect, which is fixed earth, or the cardinal air aspect. And in both of those, we've got earth, we've got fire, and we've got air. We have no water. So it's like when this love comes into this feminine sphere, I'm getting, into their circle, into their reality, their timeline, when it's like jumps into their timeline, then they can be, I just got the taste of cake, vanilla cake, which sounds delicious. But my left nostril, like, you know, you smell and taste at the same time. Like our sense of smell is very important. You done gone smell blind. Not William H. Macy. What is his name? Because William H. Macy is, I mean, I like him as an actor as well. I don't know his zodiac sign. But yeah, smell blind. Talladega Nights. Is that the one where he goes smell blind? Maybe somebody has a deviated septum. Maybe somebody partied a lot. 10 of Cups, though. I'm looking at this 10 of Cups because it's like the masculine's coming in as the Knight of Cups. The feminine is hoping that they're going to conquer their demons, conquer their shadows, say no to the devil. Nope. But there's a moon here. There's a crescent moon here, which could be waxing or waning depending on, it feels like it's a waning moon. So maybe something about this full moon was significant. Also in, not Friends, Sex and the City, The Man, the Myth, and the Viagra. There could be an older masculine here. But yeah, like Miranda's a very, driven, which I love their story, her and Steve's story or whatever, until the movie, because then he cheats on her, which I just think is like an unnecessary plot point. Like, leave it alone. But maybe somebody got cheated on by somebody that they invested a lot of energy in. But like, Steve's was so, like, he never really manned up, he was always kind of like weepy and he was not my favorite, but I was like, I liked that they had the full circle, and then it was kind of like a reward because it was like all that work came to something, because she made a lot of adjustments. She even says, I changed who I was for you. And she did. Maybe somebody has, particularly a feminine, has changed who they are for somebody else. They've molded themselves. They've adapted themselves to somebody else. And it's like, and also with the frog, it's like the acclimation process. Like they say, if you put like a frog in a pot and like raise the temperature of the water, they won't know that they're being boiled. So it maybe was a very slow process to where you were like, oh my gosh, I'm in boiling water and now I'm dead. Versus, like if you acclimate to cold temperature and then you go to a tropical area, like maybe somebody's traveling to a different time zone or a different like region that has a totally different weather pattern, or a totally different environment that you have to acclimate to. But that kind of acclimation, like maybe when you move, maybe you have to leave a scenario and you don't want to be around this person. You don't want to be around anybody who knows you. Maybe this is like a completely fresh start. You're kind of like going into the unknown, and that's where you're going to, something about going into the unknown is when you're going to find out, because it's in I Want You Back, they talk about the slow burn. But there's something about the slow burn that feels very toxic here and not that cute. It's not, it's like, it wasn't just it was a slow burn. Like a slow burn is so, it's like torture. Versus like with the tower, it's unexpected. It's all of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, this is boiling water. Let me get out of here. If it had happened quicker, it wouldn't have wasted so much of your time. It wouldn't have wasted so much of your energy. It feels so draining for it to be a slow, long, arduous process. So this does feel more sudden. I think you're getting out of something that you were like giving time to, and you thought maybe they'll change. Like, because I've changed. Maybe they'll acclimate because I've acclimated. Maybe they'll love me because I loved them, right? And we know that doesn't work, right? That's not a connection. That's an attachment. That's codependency, right? There's something about, that Eight of Cups, choosing yourself, walking away from something and releasing something that does not serve you, that, it's like something sudden. Lightning strikes. This love is going to strike. And it's very sudden. So the new love, This is new love. I'm going to title this a new love reading, because I feel like some people have been, many of us have been fixated on some past people. And then, of course, the moment that you start to withdraw your energy or give to yourself, that leechy vampiric energy. And I don't think you've wanted to admit that that energy was leechy or vampiric or had some sort of lower vibrational intention. And lack of intention is also intention. So let's not just be like, well, they don't know and I don't know. That's the moon energy. And that waning, it's like draining, waning. Like the most clarity we get under the moon energy is full moon, because the sun is fully illuminating the moon. And that's where we get knowledge from. That's where we get insight from. Well, we get insight from within, but that's where we get information from, is from the sun. Which is like not the crown, but the sun does seem to have like a crown around it. Also, Saturn is significant. So it is like the sun and the devil. This God and the devil, the sun and Saturn. Your Saturn return, your Saturn placements. You could have Capricorn placements, or Leo placements, you or your person. Because again, it's like you're going through the same things. ET, it's like this extraterrestrial. So this 5D connection has you both going through very similar things, so that you will come together and really, and it's like an immediate understanding. It's not like, oh, maybe if I give it time, oh, maybe if like we stop giving your time. Time is pretty precious in this 3D incarnation. And I feel like, because I'm getting a double message here, because a lot of time, and that might be the thing, it's like you were thinking out of one way that kept you stuck in something, because dealing with narcissists, when they try to rush you, when they try to like lock it down, lock you down with kids, like anyone who's trying to like get you pregnant or get themselves pregnant. It's like, I'm getting like someone who pokes holes, like sabotages it, pokes holes in condoms, right? Someone who's like, there's like a rush to lock you down, and it's not, you don't lock down love. This kind of love is unconditional. It's like you choose each other and they allow you to choose them. So if you're like hoping someone's going to choose you and you've been waiting and holding out for that, like, what are you doing? That's your time. You're wasting your time. I'm getting London. I think there's another name to the artist. London. I'm getting London Fog, that brand. But it's wasting my young years. Wasting my young years. You're going to give the best of yourself to somebody that does not deserve it, who has not earned it, who does not want it. Like, that's the hard truth. They don't want it. If they wanted it, they would invest in you. If they're not investing in you, if they're not showing up for you, if they're not bringing you clarity, if there's any question marks, any confusion, that is a no. And usually narcissists will hurry the process. They'll want to move in together. They'll want to like lock it down. It feels very exciting and fast and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and it's, that gets you entranced, that hooks you like a drug. And then you realize, oh, I'm in something like I can't get out of now, because now we own a house together. Oh, now we have a kid together, or whatever. There's some sort of like leech, like a parasite. They lock in, and you gotta like get that head out. You gotta back it out. You gotta like eliminate that parasite. And sometimes the parasite hooks onto you, and sometimes you realize, oh wait, I'm holding on to a parasite. What am I doing? Let go of that shit. Like, release it. And then like you were encouraged to go with the person that is slow and steady. But with covert narcissism, it feels a little bit slower. Like you might look back and go, oh, they really locked me in there and there. But it's like there's something subtle and malicious and insidious about the way that they creep in, the way that they it doesn't feel fast, and you may have been like, wow, this is better because it's slow, but it's, you look at it and it's still confusing. It's still not clear how you got here. How did I get here? And you look at it and you're like, maybe they weren't a grandiose narcissist. Maybe they were someone who's just, they told you all the things you wanted to hear. Like everything you said, they're like, yep, me too. Yep, me too. And they confirmed and told you exactly what you wanted to hear. And you thought that you were on the same page. You thought you were with another empath. And then you realize, oh, I'm with somebody who, like most predators, has found a way in. And damn, it's almost like you're almost impressed with how sly they were. But you can be impressed and get them the heck out of your life. And just be like, dang, you were good. Good job. I'm not even mad. I'm almost impressed. You ate an entire wheel of cheese, like, Anchorman is significant here. Will Ferrell is Pisces. I was just watching You Are Cordially Invited. So weddings, and Will Ferrell, and I believe Reese Witherspoon is an Aries. So Aries and Pisces, somebody could be like a cusper, or something about the month of March could be significant, or April. Particularly the end of March, ringing in my right ear. And a plane. See, I was like popping my ear because there was like pressure. And then there's a plane overhead. I hear the choppers hovering. They're hovering overhead. Ooh, yep, coming in. So, so the flip side of that, when it's quick, it's unhealthy, and when it's slow, it's healthy. But for some reason, I'm getting the opposite of that, that this was a slower process. This took a lot longer, and it still was toxic. It was just toxic in an unexpected way. You didn't see it coming. It wasn't an obvious toxicity or imbalance or attachment. And so maybe it was different from the other people, like narcissists and people that you had dealt with. But it's still the same thing. It's just like maybe you dealt with all grandiose and this one was covert, and they tricked you. They tricked you. You feel tricked. And I'm sorry that you feel tricked. And that's a narcissistic thing, to apologize for your feelings. But I didn't do it. So I can be sorry that you feel that way, because I don't like my people feeling a certain way. And because I can empathize with that, because I've been tricked. I've been bamboozled by both sides, right? So this feels more like this might happen fast, and that might be a bit of a shock, but it's like, you know what you're dealing with. It's not a slow burn. Like, there's no burn here. You're not getting burned in this scenario. Everything is going to be out in the open. There's going to be so much clarity up front. You know what you're dealing with. Now, I'm not saying that you need to get married on the weekend, like that you meet this person. Like, yep. But I feel like there's going to be such a recognition of this person, and use your discernment. When you ask questions, make sure they're asking questions of you, right? Because people who don't care, they'll ask a lot of questions in the beginning, but the types of questions are going to be like, what's your greatest fear? What's your insecurity? And then they're going to use that against you, right? Which some people will be like, don't give that information, because then, dark people and narcissists can use that against you. I feel like give all that information, because that will tell you faster than anything if they start to try and use it against you. But you have to get to a very strong place, which means you have to be in solitude. You have to give that energy to yourself and know who the hell you are, so that anyone who tries to sway you, you can feel it immediately. You're like, nah, I know what you're doing. I see exactly what you're doing, you manipulator. You think I don't know you? I do know you, because I know myself. So, maybe someone has been single for a long time, or maybe somebody needs to be single for a while. I always recommend, at least 6 months between relationships, but I always recommend a year, That way you can go through all the seasons, the literal seasons around you. And why is it important? Because you need to be cold in your bed by yourself and figure out how to warm yourself up in the winter. And in the summer, you need to figure out how you're going to cool yourself down. If you're, and that sounds funny, but a lot of people like winter because it's like, oh, we can cuddle. Yeah, but that's just a warm body next to you. Do they have any actual life? The movie Warm Bodies could be significant here, right? It's like you're with a zombie. You're with someone who's like eating your brain, taking your intellect, eating your flesh. They're just like, it's like they are not alive unless you are around them. So it's like you need to invigorate yourself and be in that place of solitude. Ace of Wands. I get this, like, you need to just be alone. So if you're somebody who has been alone, this is a confirmation for you that it's coming, because you've done the work, you've been multitasking, you've been holding this torch. You're still doing creative things here, right? Maybe you've had a child or whatever. Now, very specifically, somebody could have like gone to a sperm bank or adopted or something on their own. Whatever. Or maybe somebody had a child with somebody and they were like, oh, well, I need to stay with them because they're the father or mother of my child. Children that grow up in an unhappy home are far worse off than children that grow up in a single parent household. Okay? So it's okay. Your child is going to be okay. All right? Because there's nothing more destructive than watching two people that don't love each other and stay together. Because then that's what you're telling your children you need to accept. You need to accept somebody who doesn't love you, treats you badly, that isn't a partner. That's what they're going to choose when they branch out into the world. Please break that cycle. Please, for the love of your children, the love of yourself, the love of your ancestors, please break that cycle. Anyway, this child right here could represent something that you're doing to nurture yourself, right? You've gone through this rebirth by yourself, right? Butterflies go through that chrysalis process. They turn into goo, and then they morph into a beautiful butterfly. They do that all on their own, right? That whole experience is done in isolation. It's done in darkness. So butterflies can always be significant here, but it's like it's like the winter trees. Somebody has gone through at least one winter alone and gone through the experience and gone through the holidays. So the literal seasons are important here, but then also like the seasons, the zodiac seasons, the astrological seasons, right? When you go through each of the moon cycles and the zodiac seasons, right? You go through all of them. That is the shadow working process. So if you go through Pisces season single, you are going to be challenged in all the areas of the third eye, of the high priestess, of the hanged man, right? Taking a moment of introversion, inverted. You're going to invert your perspective. You're going to look at things in a different way. You're going to do things your own way, and people are going to look at you like you're crazy because you're hanging upside down, and you're like, it doesn't matter. I'm in the hangman mode. By myself. And then we have the high priestess, right? The high priestess is here. So if you go through Taurus season, you're going to go through the challenges of the Hierophant. You're going to go through the challenges of the Empress. Masculine or feminine, you're going to go through these challenges alone. If you've only ever relationship hopped like a frog, if you've only ever relationship hopped, it's like from one lily pad to another, you've never learned to swim. You need to learn to swim because you are amphibious. You probably have strong water placements, right? So it's like you need to learn to swim on your own without a life raft, without little arm floaties, without a buoy, without a noodle, whatever. Without a noodle, okay? For those of you who have entertained too many noodles to make yourself feel alive or fulfilled or whatever, or have gotten swayed by the wrong head, right? It's like you need to cut. don't Lorena Bobbitt. But you need to cut the head off that snake, right? And please don't cut the heads off of any snakes. Snakes are awesome, okay? But metaphorically speaking, that is that scorpionic energy that's going through the death. You have to go through your own ego death, your own cycle death and rebirth. And that is very important that you do those things alone, because you're not actually alone. It's you connecting with the crown chakra. It's you connecting with source. It's you connecting with your truth, so that you know when others around you that do not align with that truth, you know what's false for you. And it doesn't mean that somebody's bad to not be good for you. It doesn't mean that somebody is wrong to not be right for you. It's not about competition. It's not about me versus anybody. I don't like those readings that are like, you versus them. Why are you versus your person? That doesn't make sense. It's you and them. You're together. Oh, I just got major deja vu. You and them. So listen to the signs, listen to your discernment, but you gain discernment. You figure your discernment out by giving to the self, by doing things that you enjoy. Because I feel like you are somebody who is very accommodating, and you will acclimate to the environment around you. You're like a chameleon, but then it's like, what is your color? What's your true color? If you're always like, whatever you want to eat for dinner, I don't know, whatever you want to do, it's like, that's not the Queen of Swords. Everybody needs to go through the Queen of Swords, because that is setting boundaries and holding those boundaries. And I get like a very pre-Empress here. And that's also the message here with the Empress being split by Justice and Hierophant, that Taurus and Libra energy. This is actually an Ace of Wands. It's not Earth at all, but there's so much green and brown here that I do feel like you have strong Earth placements possibly that are, or you're just grounding your fire energy. If you have fire placements, you're grounding that, and coming into a very nurturing pre-Empress place. And you will come into your full Empress with this Emperor, right? Or maybe you thought you would only be an Empress when you're pursued or chosen by an Emperor. Because the Emperor is in the feminine. This deja vu is like riding out. Because we have the Four of Wands. There's probably a lot of deja vu around this person. It's going to feel like you've met them before. And not because you have. Not like, oh, I've dealt with this a-hole before. Like this same energy. It's like, oh, I'm coming home. Mama, I'm coming home. Ozzy Osbourne. The Hermit, Virgo energy. It's like you've been wandering in the dark. Lack of clarity. You haven't seen the light. And here you are. There's like a torch holding. You're both holding a torch for each other. This person's holding a lantern. The feminine's holding this big fiery torch with this beetle here. Something about like rhinoceros beetles could be important. The rhinoceros charging ahead. The Chariot, Cancerian energy again. Cancer has not come out overtly, but the energy is very much prevalent here because of the moon, which is Cancer, right? Also Pisces, but Pisces has their own celestial body, which is Neptune. So get over there, Pisces. But maybe you have Cancer and Pisces in your chart, but Cancer is the moon. That is their ruling celestial body, which is interesting because it's not a planet, right? Just like the sun's not a planet, it's a star, but Leo is ruled by that. So it's like something about your planet, the planet that you come from could be significant, or the celestial body that rules you could be significant. But the Hermit here is like this masculine coming out of the dark. They see this light. It's like having a star. I mean, they do later have a star in there. It's like they're carrying this star, which is the healing. This is also a masculine that may keep healing at arm's length, right? You need to let that star out, by the way. So that's like another message for somebody out there. There it is. Here it is. My baby cousin used to say that. So O0, that letter and number could be significant. Also, like when you are writing it out to differentiate an O from a 0, you do a slash through it. So it's like that cycle, that circle slashing through it. And that's also like a warning sign, like, or a was going to say notification. So you could be getting some sort of notification that is a confirmation here. But there's, it's not a warning. It's a, what type of sign is that called? Where it's like no smoking, no, it's like no crossing, no narcissist crossing here, you know, like, which is that Queen of Swords. It's like, nope. Setting boundaries. Somebody has really had to work very hard on setting boundaries, and not just setting them, holding them. Hold, Braveheart. This is you've had to protect your heart. You've had to say no. No is a complete sentence. That's all you need to say. Keep it simple. If people don't like that, if people don't respect your no, they are not aligned with you. The Fool. This is what I was hoping for, because this is the Frog. This is the one who takes a leap of faith into freedom. Somebody is freeing themselves from a jar with poison, Schrodinger's cat. That could be significant. Again, the scientist, the magician. That's the final phase of the final countdown, the final phase of your shadow working process is realizing you are the divine alchemist, the magician. The Emperor and the Empress are both divine alchemists. So this feminine is putting a lot of maybe pressure on their masculine, or has been putting a lot of pressure on their masculine to come in and choose them. But it's like the moment you choose yourself. What is that movie where they're supposed to love and they're looking outside of themselves and they keep, it's like to break the spell or break the curse. And then when they say, I love myself, it breaks the curse. Penelope. One of my dogs is named Penelope. Nellie. Little Penelope Pig. Christina Ricci. So if you haven't seen that, I just spoiled it for you. But I spoiled it for myself. Even though I've already seen it a long time ago. Also, I believe she is a Virgo with the Hermit coming out. And she does do this thing where it's like, I could fit in that. And she like makes herself very small. And she's already petite, but she makes herself very small. This is like coming out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. Like this Fool is like, you're a fool in love with yourself. That probably sounds so corny to people who are still in this mode of like, I need someone else to choose me. I need someone else to love me. Love yourself. Love yourself so much that when somebody comes in to meet you there, and this will help your person love themselves too and do that healing work too, so that when you come together, there's none of the like slow burn. Like you can just come together and it doesn't feel shocking in that way. Like this love is going to come in, it's going to strike like a new snake, but it's not venomous. And it's going to be like so natural. There's something so natural about it that's just like, you don't have to change yourself at all for this person. You can be more of yourself. If anything, you can just be your fullest version of yourself with the Fool here. Like, here I am. This is me. This is me, the Greatest Showman. Something about theater is important. I don't know. Maybe you're going to meet this person at a show. Like maybe you've always wanted to go to a show and you've always been waiting for somebody to take you to that show. And then you go, right? Maybe you're like, oh, I have these concert tickets, and maybe you take a friend, right? And you're like, there's something about you not relying on a romantic partner that brings in your romantic partner. So that's Seven of Cups, you know, doing things that you enjoy. Maybe you've always wanted to like go to the gym and you're like, oh, I wish I had somebody to go to the gym with. Maybe you're finding with that Three of Pentacles, maybe you're going with friends, or maybe you're just going by yourself. Maybe you're taking yourself on day dates. You're like, I always wanted to try that restaurant or whatever. Go sit in that restaurant. Order anything on the menu you wanted. order dessert, order your drink, whatever. Like, just sit there without the armor, without the mask, without the pretense. And I feel like when you do that, your person's going to walk by, or your person's going to be your server, or your person's going to be, and I do get this sense like they want to serve you as well. Like they're going to do for you. They're going to speak all the love languages. They're going to give to you. They're not going to take from you, and you're going to feel it right away. Like, people give relationships too much time, I think, for them to change, oh, well, they're new, they don't know me. This person knows you right away. That's the difference. They're not trying to rush you. They're not trying to get anything from you. If you say you want to get married after maybe you want to give a relationship a year, cool. Maybe you don't want to get married. Maybe you want the ceremony, but you don't want to get legally married. This person's going to be okay with whatever, and it's not because they're just like, whatever you say, dear. They're like, cool. That's exactly what I wanted to. And there is something that feels a little bit unnerving about this, because you've never experienced this kind of like knowing or calm with somebody. So you're like, if you're worried about saying, oh, my favorite color is blue, and they're like, yeah, me too. And you're like, oh, my favorite food is this, and they're like, yeah, me too. Just so that they can relate to you and mirror you in that way, because narcissists mirror. They know how to do that. To be like, oh my God, you're my best friend. Oh my God, me too. Ask this person questions, right? Narcissists hate questions because they don't know the answers. They don't have the answers because they've never been single probably long enough to do the work, or the desire to do the work for themselves. The only work that they invest is at the very beginning of a relationship to get the person, to snag the person. That's it. 5656 on the clock there, which is 11:11. All right. So we will stop it there. Hopefully there was something in here for you. And, you know, there's a lot of different advices here, but just, question. Somebody who's telling the truth is not afraid of questions. Somebody who is trying to like work out how they're going to lie about it, or if they've lied and they've told another lie, they can't remember their lie, they can't keep track of it. They hate questions because it challenges their lies. If you're telling the truth, like, you could be asked 100 questions, just like those like interview questionnaires where they ask the same question in different ways. It's like your answer is going to be the same. Like, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to trick me and get a different answer. But only liars would be like, answer one way and then answer another way to the same question. And I feel like you've experienced that. So take as much time as you want to take. This person's going to be okay with it. But I think it's going to, at the start, it's going to be a hell yes. It's going to be, this is somebody I could be with. Like, you feel at home, you feel so natural and comfortable with this person, not complacent, comfortable, to be free, to be your greatest expression. And the world wants that. You want it, they want it, the world wants it. They want to see you, because when you shine your brightest like the sun, the whole world benefits from it. Or at least the world where the sun is shining on. Like, everyone who sees you or experiences and interacts with you is going to benefit from this. Because they're going to grow too. Watching you grow helps them grow. Narcissists don't want you to grow. So, just... What was that? Did something bite your butt? If people want you to be around those who want you to be yourself. And the best way to determine those people, or discern who those people are, is to just be yourself. Because everyone that doesn't want you to be yourself will fall away, or they'll become confrontational in a way that you're like, why are you questioning who I am? Why do you want me to change? Why do you want me to be anything but myself? And if you have to ask 3 whys, get out. 1 why is good, right? Always be asking questions. Always ask why. Virgo energy, the why kids of the zodiac. Continue to ask. You should always be curious. They'll out themselves, right? When you ask questions. So ask questions. Because this person is going to answer all your questions. And their answers will be consistent. So I just feel like there's a very specific collective here that is ready for new love. You're ready to be done with all of that. You've done the work. You've been alone. You've experienced these things. You feel good about who you are, and you want to be with somebody else. You want to share that with somebody else. You want to share your life with somebody, but you don't want to. Sharing is reciprocal. It's connection. You're done with attachment. You've cut those cords. You release those burdens. You set them down. They're not yours anymore. So you're ready for this new love. All right? And for those of you who have been challenged by this reading, then that's indicative that you have some work to do on yourself. You need to be with yourself. You deserve that. If you want the love from somebody else, you don't need it from anybody else but yourself. And when you feel that love, that agape love for the self, it's easy to find it out in the world. It's everywhere. People, places, and your person, like it's everywhere. Because you carry it with you. Like that little lantern. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Okay. I'm really done here. So hopefully there's something in here for you, collective. Until next time, I wish you well.